What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Hail Mary. This isn't gonna be your typical episode because I'm liberated. I am free. I had a revelation last night why do we even need football? We don't need football. Who needs football? We could be doing better things in our lives. We could be climbing Mount. Well, you can't be climbing Mount Everest right now. We could be running for president now because running for president right now kind of seems a little crazy. We could be painting with watercolors. We could be going on nature walks. We could be learning how to ride a bike. There's so many things that we should be doing now instead of just wasting our entire Thursday night sitting by the TV watching a football game. There we could be doing so much more with our lives. I could have did the dishes. I could have mopped the floor, painted a room. I could have did something instead of just sitting there last night watching that Thursday night football game. Because at the end of the day, regardless if the Pittsburgh Steelers give up 25 catches to Jamar Chase and lose on a last second field goal because Mike Tomlin is incompetent, it doesn't matter. That that doesn't even matter. Why does that doesn't affect me in the slightest? I didn't go to bed last night incredibly pissed off because this is a game that Mike Tomlin loses every single year, and I knew it was going to happen, but still deep down, I thought that we were actually going to win this game. But no, Mike Tomlin is a fucking idiot and did the same thing that he always does every single year. No, I didn't do that. I didn't do that. I didn't go to bed upset last night. I realized something that we don't even need football anymore. We don't. It's not even a necessary thing in our lives. Like the Steelers give the highest paid defense in the league all this money. Cam Hayward sits out because he can't feed his family. They can't even stop the run, but it doesn't even matter. These guys get all this money to do one job and they can't even do that job. But it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter at the end of the day. It doesn't matter that the Cincinnati Bengals are on their third quarterback of the year this year, and the only thing the Pittsburgh Steelers really had to do was take out Jamar Chase, and they couldn't do it. That doesn't matter. Oh my fucking God, I can't stand Mike Tomlin. Dude, like, you knew exactly how the Bengals wanted to beat you. And yes, Joe Flacco is a better passer than Jake Browning. He is. But you couldn't stop it for once? TJ Watt, where were you all night, buddy? You had one sack. Cam Hayward, where were you all night, buddy? You couldn't stop the run. Chase Brown had 2 yards of rush the entire year. And then the second he plays you guys, he rushes for 8 yards a freaking clip. What's wrong with you guys? And Terrell Austin, you're telling me that you can't scheme something up that Jamar Chase at all times, not once a drive, not before the play starts, no, at all times, even when he's standing on the sidelines, you can't scheme something up that there is somebody on his ass at every moment. How dumb are you? Mike Tomlin, how dumb are you for letting this happen? It's the same thing every single freaking year. We play a divisional opponent on Thursday Night Football who is inferior to us, and we lose. It happens every single year. And at this point, I think Pittsburgh Steelers fans are turning into Penn State fans because Penn State fans were so complacent with James Franklin. Being like, well, he wins us 10 games a year. We make it to a bowl game. Yeah, and guess what Mike Tomlin does? He'll win 9 or 10 games a year. He'll make it to the playoffs and get bounced. This Pittsburgh Steelers team this year, the offense that I'm seeing, it's a revelation. I cannot believe that the Pittsburgh Steelers were able to plug in Aaron Rodgers and the offense looks this freaking good. I couldn't believe it. I really couldn't. Like, I thought the Pittsburgh Steelers were going to be okay on the offense, better than years past with Russell Wilson and Kenny Pickett. I thought they would be okay. I didn't think they would look this freaking good. The defense. You trade for Jalen Ramsey. Patrick Queen is one of the worst signings of all time. Cam Hayward sits out because he can't put McDonald's on the table for his family. TJ Watt gets this crazy extension. You draft Derek Harmon. Where the fuck is that guy been? The rest of the secondary. Darius Slay stinks. Joey Porter Jr. can't stop holding and getting pass interference calls. You have $10 billion locked up into one single defensive unit, and they can't stop a nosebleed. Football doesn't even matter, guys. Like, it doesn't even matter. I don't even know what happened there. I think it was the caffeine. I just got a little goofy right there. But dude, seriously, this happens every single year. The Pittsburgh Steelers play an inferior opponent on Thursday Night Football, or they just play an inferior opponent in general, and they end up losing that game in a fashion in which they definitely shouldn't have lost. Because yes, it was exciting up until the end. Aaron Rodgers on that 68-yard touchdown pass to Pat Freiermuth. It's like, oh my God, like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, in years past, the Steelers wouldn't have even scored a touchdown there. Bengals would have just kneeled it out. They would have lost that game. The fact that we were even in a position to win the game is nuts to me. Now, again, we all know that kickers in the NFL are banging 60-yard field goals like it's absolutely nothing. Why are the Pittsburgh Steelers letting the Bengals march down the field in the field goal range in 2 plays? With a play that Jamar Chase literally had nobody around him in a 20-yard radius. It's incompetence. It really is. It's stupid. It's stupid. You have the highest paid defense in the league. There is no player that you could trade for that is going to fix the incompetence that is the coaching staff. Imagine if this team still had Brian Flores. Imagine if Brian Flores was the head coach right now. Brian Flores should probably be the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. But Mike Tomlin shit-canned him because he was scared he was going to take his job. If Brian Flores was the coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers this year, the Pittsburgh Steelers may be undefeated. Potentially may be undefeated. Because that loss that we had to the Seahawks was kind of the same type thing, where they were just getting gashed by the run, and then obviously the stupid Caleb Johnson kickoff play. Again, it is the same damn thing every single freaking year, and Pittsburgh Steelers fans are becoming Penn State fans, where somebody makes a comment being like, hey, we should probably get rid of Mike Tomlin. We probably should, because sure, he wins half of his games, but then he loses when it matters. And a bunch of people are like, well, you know that he's just going to get scooped up immediately. You know that he's going to turn a team into a team like the Pittsburgh Steelers. Let him. Honestly, let him. Because at this point with the Steelers, I would take 2 years of being absolute garbage, absolute trash, if it means we get good picks in the draft. But even then, just thinking about that, it wouldn't matter. We could have the best players in the world, and our coaching staff still has no idea how to coach them. The Steelers need to do something. Terrell Austin should not be the defensive coordinator of this team right now. The guy made 0 adjustments last night. In the first half, the Bengals were legitimately running the same play. It was Jamar Chase. He would go like 13 yards out route, and Joe Flacco would throw it the second he's about to break, and they ran that maybe 12 times, and it was a completion every single time, pretty much. Every single time. And yet, the Steelers, who made this trade to get Jalen Ramsey, they couldn't stop it. Is it because Jalen Ramsey's washed? Maybe. Is it because the defensive coordinator and staff of the Pittsburgh Steelers have legitimately no idea what they're doing. I'm actually leaning towards that more than this side, but I think both are true. This is a game that the Steelers should win. Everybody knew they were going to lose this game. So at that point, it should be a game that Mike Tomlin should lock in for. But no. And it got to a point where he praised Joe Flacco so much. Like, whenever he did that press conference talking about the Cleveland Browns and how he thought they were stupid for getting rid of Joe Flacco and how he was so much smarter than Andrew Berry and how he would never, ever do that. He was hyping up Joe Flacco more than I've ever heard him hype up a quarterback in his life. The dude sounded like he wanted to kiss him. And at some point in the game, I'm sitting there thinking, wow, we're getting zero pass rush to him. Did Mike Tomlin tell the Pittsburgh Steelers to call off the dogs? Did Mike Tomlin tell the Steelers, hey, Joe Flacco, he's old. Don't hit him. Don't hurt him. I like Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco might be the quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers next year, honestly. The way his career's going, the way that Aaron Rodgers said that it might be his last year, we might have Joe Flacco as our quarterback next year. And guess what? He'll do the same thing that Aaron Rodgers is doing this year and slinging that motherfucker around. And you know what's going to happen in the end? We're not going to do shit because the defense is going to let us down. Again, the Pittsburgh Steelers could have the best players in the world on the defensive side of the ball, which they have one of them, and his name's TJ Watt, which I'm starting to put him on fucking fraud watch. How? How are you? You got locked down yesterday, buddy. You had 1.5 sacks. You had like a half a sack. I'm putting this team on this. I'm putting this defense on fraud watch. I can't stand it. But again, what's it matter? You know? What's it matter? It doesn't matter. Football doesn't matter, guys. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I really don't know what else to talk about because I just went to bed last night and just didn't prep for the rest of this. So let's just talk about the Dodgers then, because the big thing that's been on Twitter or X has been that the Dodgers have been ruining baseball. The Dodgers winning this year will ruin baseball, is what I saw. And Jeff Passan wrote an article saying the Dodgers winning this series is going to be a key factor into whether we end up losing our baseball season next year in 2027, because NFL, God, see, I'm already thinking of the fucking Steelers, because MLB owners are going to look at how good the Dodgers are and are going to want to implement a salary cap, and that's going to cause players to lock out. Why are we blaming the Dodgers? We shouldn't be blaming the Dodgers. We shouldn't be blaming the Yankees. We shouldn't be blaming the Mets. These teams aren't the problem with the MLB. These teams aren't the reason the MLB is how it is today. The Dodgers are taking advantage of teams that just quite frankly don't want to sign their own players. And then guess what? The Dodgers can take those good players, trade for good young players. Those good young players get good in the system, and it just repeats. And the issue isn't that there's not a salary cap in baseball. That's not the issue. The issue is that there's not a salary floor in baseball. The issue is that there are owners and managers and whoever else that run the White Sox, that run the Pirates, that run the Tigers, that teams like that aren't willing to spend money. This was a beautiful Cinderella story for the Brewers. Yes, oh wow, they had a really low payroll, and look how far they made it, and they were number one in the NL. And cool story. You ran into a buzzsaw because you didn't spend money. That's just how the game is. And I don't know why we're blaming these teams. Like, if you want to get better, spend the money. You've known for your entire tenure as the owner, as the GM of the said team, or of your tenure in baseball, that there is no salary cap. And you bitching and crying that, oh, the Dodgers have all this money to spend. You can do the same exact thing. Instead of taking that royalty check that you get from the league every year and putting it in your pocket so you can go golf at Mar-a-Lago? How about instead you reinvest it into your team? You know how much more money do you know how much money the Dodgers make because they consistently win and not just the fact that they have rich owners? Probably a lot. And I don't think people realize that. Yes, the Dodgers have a ton of money. They do. But so does every other owner in the MLB. And what happens is, look at this Tariq Skubal situation. Apparently, Skubal and the Tigers are $250 million off from a contract. They are $250 million. Are they straight up just offering this guy $10 million per year? And that is the problem with the MLB. It's not the fact that these teams are able to spend money. It's the fact that you're not spending money, and then they see the good players on the market, and what are they supposed to do? Sign them for you? No. They're going to sign them for their own team and make themselves even better. The Dodgers are not the problem with baseball. The Yankees are not the problem with baseball. They're not. It's the fact that you have owners like Bob Nutting, who, whenever it's time to pay Paul Skeens, he's going to let him go. Whenever it's time to pay any of their best players, O'Neal Cruz, he's going to go. That's the problem with baseball. The problem is not that there's a salary cap. There's no salary cap. There needs to be a salary floor. Make it somewhat competitive. Because the MLB lets these owners get away with not fielding a competitive team, and then they just ride on the luxury tax stuff and the revenue splits. And they're like, okay, good, I made my money for the year without putting a good product on the field. That's the problem with baseball. So people who are sitting here bitching and complaining that, oh my God, we're going to have another Dodgers World Series and they spend $500 million more than the bottom 6 payroll teams, that's not their problem. It's not their problem whatsoever. And the problem is the fact that these lower teams aren't making it competitive. Because guess what? If they spent money, there are less players for the top upper echelon teams to spend money. Stupid. It's stupid. That's like the only other thing that I've been really locked in on. I guess that what else can we talk about? Because I truly, the only thing last night that I went to bed last night and I was just pissed. This might just be a short episode of the podcast. Yeah. I the only thing I can think of right now is the Pittsburgh Steelers and just how incompetent Mike Tomlin is. And I think that that's just going to be the name of the episode. The Pittsburgh Steelers are incompetent. And then I'll just put featuring the New York Dodgers because I have no idea what else to talk about right now. There's so much that happened in sports and I'm just blanking right now because I need Mike Tomlin going. Oh, Kirk Cignetti got a big deal. So he's not going to be the next coach of the Penn State Nittany Lions. Kirk Cignetti got 8 years, 150 or 93 million guarantee. I don't know what it was. It was a lot of money. So Kirk Cignetti, congratulations to you. You are continuing to be the coach of Indiana, which I think is a smart move because going to Penn State, that's a different. I don't think I would want to be the coach of Penn State. And now Penn State fans are actually trying to convince themselves that Urban Meyer should be the head coach. I live around a bunch of Penn State fans, and I heard for years that Urban Meyer is a terrible coach. He's not a good guy. He's riding off the coattails of other people like Jim Tressel, which is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. I heard that he's just not a good coach. He's not a good person. So I guess it makes sense that that's why Penn State fans want him if they don't think he's a good person, because for obvious reasons, what happened at Penn State, we won't really get into that too much. I don't want to get demonetized. But now Penn State fans are convincing themselves that they are getting Urban Meyer. I actually think that there's more of a chance that they get Marcus Freeman and then Urban Meyer goes to Notre Dame, or they get Matt Rule and then Urban Meyer goes to Nebraska. I think all in all, I don't think Urban Meyer's coaching again, but I just thought that was funny that Penn State fans were like, whoa, well, we're going to get Urban Meyer. Well, I had to hear as an Ohio State fan for years how you think he's a shitty guy and how he's a terrible head coach and how he lost to you guys in the whiteout in 2016, which I don't know how that still matters because that's the only thing that you guys really have over Ohio State in this past decade. But hey, I digress. Yeah, just fire Terrell Austin, get rid of Mike Tomlin if you have to. Maybe just trade TJ Watt. But at the end of the day, guys, it doesn't matter. It doesn't even matter. Yeah, it doesn't. Football doesn't matter. I'll see you guys. I'll see you guys on Monday. And I really hope Terrell Austin doesn't have a job by then. All right, guys. I'll see you all on Monday. Check out all my long form or my short form content. TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, Snapchat. You know where we're at. Shout out. I didn't do any shout outs today because it doesn't even matter, right? Shout out Underdog and Sleeper. Use the code HMM when you sign up. You're going to get yourself a free 0.5 gimme pick. And you're going to get yourself a deposit match as well. And we may have other things in the works right now. I'm talking to some other apps. Might have some things in the works. But yeah, football doesn't even matter, guys. I'll see you all on Monday. Peace out.